Well, I was hoping that our stream deck would be functioning, but alas, it is not. Oh, no. So it's going to be a little choppy here at the beginning because that's what happens. But that being said, looking for a great place for breakfast or lunch? Try the Harbor Cove Cafe, the hidden treasure at the end of Spinnaker Drive. Located in the beautiful Ventura Harbor, this remarkable gem is locally owned and operated, serving a wide selection of breakfast and lunch favorites. With jaw-dropping views of the beautiful Ventura Harbor, Ventura's famous two trees, and the Topa Topa Mountains, what more could you ask for? Well, how about a full espresso bar and delightful tropical libations mixed up by our own Dr. Shocker? And with their pet-friendly patio, even man's best friend can enjoy the sights and sounds of this unique destination. Pair all of this with the delicious food offered here, and you've got a match made in heaven. Visit Harbor Cove Cafe online at harborcovecafe.net or give them a call at 805-658-1639. Harbor Cove Cafe, located at 1867 Spinnaker Drive in the Ventura Harbor. We'll see you there. Looking for a great place for breakfast or lunch? Try the Harbor Cove Cafe. Replay feature because it makes things difficult. So, because what I really wanted to play was this one.
Rough Edge FM. Irritatingly irresistible internet radio at roughedgefm.com.
Now it's time for Backseat Mogul with R. Scott Bolton. He talks about showbiz because showbiz won't talk about him.
Showbiz is a cruel and shallow money trench, a long plastic hallway where thieves and pimps run free and good men die like dogs for no good reason. There's also a bad side.
This is the Backseat Mogul Show, as you have learned here on Rough Edge FM. We have a stream deck. It's a little device that maybe I can show you. It's looks like this. And the stream deck is a device that's supposed to allow you to push a button and play a piece of music or a piece of audio while you're selecting an image on the screen. If I don't have that, then I've got to scroll down this list from Stream Deck and choose the image and then run down and try to find the audio to press it. So it doesn't work as smoothly. Our Stream Deck has not worked for months. It works like occasionally, and then all of a sudden it just stops, sometimes mid-show, and it's quite annoying. But I wanted to explain to you why the opening of the show is so choppy there, because I know it's weird. But when it's Stream Deck works, smooth. But it's not the case. Anyway, this is the Backseat Mogul Show live here on Rough Edge FM. I am R. Scott Bolton. I am the Backseat Mogul, and this is a show about show business. Sitting over that way, got it right that time, Johnny D in the house. You waving the wrong way, dude.
Oh
no, that was right. You did it right. I'm sorry. My bad. So anyway, today I wanted to talk about this is the same movie that we talked about last week, and that is The Beekeeper, starring Jason Statham. As everybody who listens to the show knows, I'm a huge Jason Statham fan. I just love his films. They're so entertaining. They're so much fun. They're crazy. They're over the top. Man, they're just entertaining stuff. But The Beekeeper came out last week, and both Johnny and I saw it in theaters at separate times, and we both liked it, right, Johnny? And did you have something to add to that?
Well, I was going to say, you mean a beekeeper? Beekeeper? Oh, that's not good. I just love that line.
That's a line from the movie. A beekeeper. It's very entertaining. Throwback action movie to like the 80s. Like I keep comparing it to Schwarzenegger's Commando, because it's very close to that in that attitude and atmosphere. Anyway, you said that you were hoping there would be more Beekeeper movies.
Yes.
I told you good luck on that because it wasn't doing that well at the box office. Well, it has been the number one at the global box office for 2 weeks in a row now, which is a big deal. And the reason I was telling you that is because I had read somewhere that the budget for the movie was $130 million, Well, there's no way that movie's going to make $300 million. And that's what it would have to make in order to break even. So I thought it's not going to happen.
Is that worldwide or just domestic?
For the budget?
No, for that to make that 300 million.
It's worldwide, global,
Okay.
global. But then I started doing some more research because I saw these articles about how well the Beekeeper was doing at the box office. And right now I think it's sitting at about $75-80 million globally. And I thought, well, why are they trumpeting this success? If it costs $130 million to make, there's no way it's going to make its money back. So I did some more research. Turns out that $130 million figure was wrong. The Beekeeper cost between $34 and $35 million. So it's a hit. It's a hit. And it's so it's still doing well. Number one at the box office 2 weeks in a row. So you know that it's outpaced Mean Girls. Mean Girls started off number one at the box office, but it just petered off rather quickly. And now the Beekeeper is taking that first place. So I think that a lot of people are actually discovering it and remembering how much fun it was to go see movies at a theater like that. I think that's got a lot to do with it. Plus, Statham is a star now. You know, he did the Transporter movies and things like that, and they were all mild successes, not a big deal. But then he started doing the Fast and the Furious movies, big monster hits. The Meg series, big monster hits. And you know, I think that he's a genuine star now, so that helps him here as well.
Even that they do 2 or 3 movies that he did with Stallone.
What was that called?
I do
Because there's a brand new one that just came out that was supposed to be terrible.
Yeah.
It's not the Untouchables, it's the Expendables. Expendables 4, yes. Yeah, but those are the B movies too, like the Crank movies. They're not, you know, big blockbusters.
I think he does it because he likes them.
Well, Statham makes a lot of money because he does a lot of movies. And I think he's actually said that. He goes, I do a lot of movies because I make them, you know, they don't have to pay me $14 million a movie. They pay me $1 million a movie and you know, it helps the budget, helps them make money, helps keep him in people's eyes.
Do you remember the first movie that you remember seeing Statham in?
The first movie I remember seeing Statham in,
not as a main character.
It was probably the remake of The Italian Job.
Same here.
Yeah, it was probably that one I first noticed him. He stood out in that movie.
Oh yeah, it's like, oh, this guy is good.
Yeah. Yeah, because he is. He's got that he's got that attitude and that style and he's believable. You know, I mean, nobody's believable in The Beekeeper because obviously it's way over the top, but you believe that that what he's doing, he's capable of doing. At least his character is capable of doing. As I mentioned last week, there was a Kaylee Kuko movie called Role Play, where she was the assassin. Not quite as believable as Jason Statham. Women can be. Don't say that. You know, I'm not thinking because it's a female thing, because women can be convincing. Look at Charlize Theron in Furiosa. You bought her from the beginning. But Kaylee Kuko, and it's more on the stunt team and the stunt choreographer and the photographer that didn't make it feel real. I still enjoy it. Role play is okay, but it's not The Beekeeper.
The movie Salt with
Angelina Jolie.
Yeah, Angelina Jolie. I thought she was great as that character.
All of the Resident Evil movies with Mia Jovovich. She's amazing.
Oh, even Angelina Jolie in the Tomb Raider.
Yeah, that's another good example. So the point is, it's not a female thing. Female action stars can be believable. It's just that when you compare the Kaylee Kuko role play to the Jason Statham Beekeeper, the Beekeeper, even though the death count is way higher, is a little more believable. And believable is in quotes because it's that kind of movie. You know, you got to keep that in mind. The good news is that while we don't have anything about a Beekeeper sequel yet, Statham is working with the same director again on a movie called Levon's Trade. And Levon's Trade will be the next movie. Stallone is also starring in the movie with him. And apparently, this is from ScreenRant.com. With 11 books currently available in Chuck Dixon's Levon Cade series and a 12th planned, there's potential for Statham to continue the role for years to come, especially given Amazon's success with Reacher. So I'm excited about that. And I've never read a Chuck Dixon book. Have you? So I'm going to have to find me a Chuck Dixon book to read, because once I finish my current reading exercise, which I'll tell you about shortly, because I was tasked with a reading assignment by my son, and I'm in the middle of it right now. But we'll get to that next.
Is there anything that says what Levon's trade is about?
Let's see. Let's just look and see what the character's about. Levon Cade series. Chuck Dixon is the author. Well, Levon's Trade, is that what he said it was?
Yes.
It was a vigilante justice thriller. Levon Cade has left his profession behind to work construction. He just wants to live an anonymous life and to be a good dad to his daughter. But when a local girl vanishes, he's asked to return to the skills that made him a mythic figure in the shadowy world of counterterrorism. Yeah, I might buy that right now. That's my kind of book. How much is the Kindle?
Is that $3.99?
$2.99. Not bad at all. I'm going to pick that up. Give that a shot, especially now that I know that Statham is going to be playing Levon Cade. Here's a quote. Levon is a badass, makes Jack Reacher seem like a crossing guard. Yeah, they use those lines all the time. Nobody's touched Reacher yet. Nobody's touched Reacher in the books. Nobody. Anyway, that's what Statham's next thing is going to be. Levon's Trade. You know what? I'm happy. I'm happy that the Beekeeper is successful enough that it gives him a continued career, because the more Statham I can get, the better.
Well, obviously,
just love that guy.
If I say it, no, I'm not going to say, because
no, you need to say it so I can ridicule you. Go ahead.
Okay. I like the way they ended.
You got to be kidding me. Oh, sorry. the Beekeeper.
Yeah,
I have an issue with it, and I don't want to give it a spoiler. It's not really a spoiler alert, because this is an action movie throwback to the Commando days. Do you think that the good guy's going to lose? I don't think so.
Well, I mean,
but I did have an issue with it, because we'll talk about it off air, because I don't want to spoil anything for anybody, but it's like, I would have done one more thing if I was the director. And I wasn't the director, obviously, because I'm doing a podcast here, but if I was the director, I would have added one more shot just to make, and it would have been a better ending shot.
Well, in response to what you said
as the Backseat Mogul,
the ending, well, they did kill off the hero in the last James Bond movie we saw.
Yeah, but they shouldn't have.
I agree.
That was a mistake. You don't kill James Bond. That's all on Daniel Craig, who arguably one of the best Bonds. Again, my Bonds are all level. I like them all equally. But Craig was pretty spectacular, and that's the only way he would do that film, if they killed him off at the end.
And I will say
Pissed me off.
When I first heard that it was going to be Daniel Craig, and because I had seen him in a couple other things.
Dude, go back to our old shows.
Yeah.
We ragged on Daniel Craig from the blonde-haired James Bond.
Boy, were we wrong.
Boy, were we wrong. Yeah, which I feel good about now.
Yeah.
And by the way, anytime you're interested, go back in time, listen to the previous Backseat Mogul shows. I think you can get them for up to 2 years on the Spreaker here, and see how wrong we were about most things.
Or you contact about our show notes. They go back a while.
Let me add to that just a little bit. Do not contact us. Contact John. I want nothing to do with his book of notes that he's had since. What's the earliest note in there we looked at last week?
Let's see. The first one that we have that is recorded on the show notes is dated
from the beginning. It's just when he started taking notes.
Yes. August 19th, 2017.
So we got 7 years now, almost 7 years of show notes for the Backseat Mogul show.
Real quickly.
It's not going to be quick. It's John.
There's only 5 things that I wrote down. There's the good morning, Kyle Acosta.
I'm sorry.
Looking for a great place for breakfast, lunch, or dinner? Try the Harbor Cove Cafe.
I'll explain this
in
in
the
a second.
beautiful Ventura Harbor. This remarkable gem is locally owned and operated and serves a wide selection of breakfast, lunch, and dinner favorites, plus a full espresso bar and delightful tropical libations mixed up by our own Dr. Shocker. Visit them online at harborcovecafe.net or give them a call at 805-658-1669.
Hold on, it's going crazy.
Cafe. This remarkable gem is locally owned and operated.
I can't stop it.
Serves a wide selection of delicious food and amazing beverages. The Harbor Cove Cafe is Ventura County.
Harbor Cove Cafe is very good, by the way.
Mixed up by our own Dr. Shocker. Visit them on
Cafe.
Okay, I turned the sound off. Sorry about that. I don't know.
That was funny.
That and now it stopped working.
Harbor
again.
Cove Cafe.
It's still going. It's still going. Hey, I'm sorry, folks. Hang on.
Harbor with their delicious food.
Oh, their delicious food and their tasty beverages
they
mixed up by our own
Oh,
doctor.
yes.
I hope it's not stuck in a permanent loop.
But now you know where to find
This
it.
should be the end. Boy, they're getting their money's worth today.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, I'm sorry. So go ahead.
No.
Well, yeah, what were the top subjects in that date in August 2000?
Well, number one, as every show, I start out with good morning. And normally I will, number two would be good breakfast. Apparently we may not have done breakfast that day because number two is with Kyle Acosta and Jeffrey.
Oh, I remember that show.
Is it Janae?
As far as we know.
About Kyle's movie, Right Ways Down.
Yes, and Kyle's done, I think, 2 movies since then, as a matter of fact, The Duke and one other that I think he's actually shooting right now. But Kyle Acosta, a great young filmmaker. It was nice to have him on the show. Yeah.
Our featured artist of the week then.
Which we used to do, but we can't anymore because we get dinged for copyright, even when we have permission from the artist.
Was, looks like I wrote Antigone Rising.
Oh, I remember that, Antigone Rising, sure.
Then we did more with Kyle Acosta and Jeffrey Janae. Please,
So
I
far,
hope I pronounced it right.
So far, these are the most boring show notes ever.
And end.
Yeah, as I said, go to the next page. Let's see what's on the next one.
Okay. The second show I recorded.
Because that didn't tell you much at all. I want something that tells us what we were talking about as far as films and things were concerned.
Okay, this one is Saturday, August 26th of 2017.
That was my brother's birthday, and you can skip the good morning, good breakfast part, John.
Okay.
He didn't want to.
Oh, it's kind of funny because our breakfast that day was Jack in the Box.
Which is our breakfast today.
Tacos. And by the way, the tacos were really good this
They
morning.
were good. Nice job, Jack in the Box on Citrus in Ventura.
Okay, we talked about Stephen King, It.
Wow. Okay.
Movies that people would like to see remade.
Okay.
Feature artist of the week was La Catherine.
I wish we had more information about the movies that people wanted to be remade and see if they've been remade yet.
God, I don't know if I pronounced this right or not. La Catherine, Catrin.
Don't know.
Back to the Movies to be remade. And that's it. Go home. Bye.
Another short one. We're not going to do any more of those because they're more boring than I thought. I apologize. But
And I don't know if they can see that or not.
Johnny's little artwork.
In honor of It.
Oh, the scary clown. Very good. All right. Well,
now some shows, there's a lot more in depth. Like here's
no. We're not going. No more notes, John.
No. I just want to let people know.
I apologize.
We went from 4 to 5. This particular one is 15. I like doing this.
We know.
And that's why.
And the only complaint I've had from people is, why does he use red ink? I can't read it.
Because that's what you gave me.
No, that's what he gave you the first time. But what have you asked for every time since?
The red ink.
The red pen. So
I
it's
don't
John's
know why.
fault. Again, do not contact us. Contact John.
Well, I've got enough notes here. And this thing is almost an inch thick of notes.
It's pretty impressive.
Table book.
We're gonna make a coffee table book out of it and sell it to folks for what, $300-$400?
Oh, sure. Why
Sounds
not?
fair. Then go for it. So anyway, the Beekeeper currently is at $79 million. It's almost at $80 million. Still running strong, doing very well in China and other places as well. I think that we're going to see another Beekeeper. And they were hoping that there would be a Beekeeper series, by the way. That was their game plan. So it looks like there will be a Beekeeper, at least a sequel coming from this one because it's doing rather well.
Do you think they could do a prequel? Shows him.
What is with you in prequels?
I don't know. There's certain things, whether it's a TV show, a movie, or even books that I would like to see.
Have you heard the word
prequel?
Backstory?
Well, yeah, that's like a
so
prequel.
You kind of know what's going on because they've already told us the backstory.
Oh, that's true.
Okay.
But then again, like I said, with books, and if you're really into books, go to Amazon.com and type in R. Scott Bolton, author. There will be a plethora of books to choose from.
There won't be a plethora because nobody knows what a plethora is.
Well, I apparently do not know
plethora.
What?
And it's not even a plethora, it's 8.
Well, then it's an eightherer.
There'll be octobooks for you.
There's the H.B. Fisk series, which is there 3 or 4 books. I forgot.
3.
3.
4. The 4th is in the works and probably will never see the light of day.
Oh my goodness. Then there's the yes. No, not yes. That was a really good group. Not as good as Supertramp, but I digress.
Imagine.
And that was a John Lennon tune.
Speaking of digressing.
Anyway, yeah, Scotty's got 8 books that have been published. Hopefully he's going to have a lot more. My favorite of all Scotty's books is Dead Dick. The latest that is available is called Death and the Mogul. All of Scott's books are really good. Scotty has run the gambit from
Gamut, not gambit.
what he just said.
I learned that the hard way. I used that word in a newspaper and the editor gave me hell for it. So
from sci-fi to fantasy to supernatural to everyday life,
detective stories.
Well, that's the
big one.
story.
The detective stories are the most popular.
And
people love Brace Heller.
And a horror book called Neath.
Haunted house book.
Well, yeah.
It's hard to call it a horror because nobody dies in it.
Okay.
Except for the person who's a ghost because she died a long time ago.
Oh, yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Anyway, check out R. Scott Bolton's books. And if you have Amazon Prime, you're going to get free delivery. And you contact this show after you've gotten your hard copy, whether it's a paperback or hardback. And I'm sure we can talk Scotty into autographing it personally to you.
I think we need to leave that part out in the future because you've been mentioning these books for at least 6 years, 7 years now. And how many people have contacted us to get an autograph book?
I could call you.
Well, that'd be one. So we'll probably leave that part out for now. But thank you for that. Yes. And a new book coming out in March, the bowling bag in the back seat.
Which, by the way, I'm still waiting for my show notes or my show notes
until it's ready. I'm, this is my last week of work, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and I'm done. So, things are busy, very busy. So we'll see how that all goes. But anyway, in other box office news, Godzilla -1 finally broke $100 million. It's not the first Godzilla movie to do so. It's the first Toho Godzilla movie to do so, which is big news. This Godzilla movie has got not only $100 million at the box office, but Godzilla is the longest running film series in history. Were you aware of that, Johnny?
No, I wasn't.
The longest running film series in history. And how many Oscar nominations has it got?
Oh, I would say 0.
It now has 1.
Ooh.
The Academy Awards were announced the other day, and the Godzilla -1 is one of the nominees for Best Visual Effects. And it's got some strong competition, but the fact that those special effects cost less than one day on the set of those other movies, it might pick them out. Can you imagine Godzilla winning an Oscar? If any Godzilla movie deserves it, it's Godzilla -1, which is now in theaters again as Godzilla -1 minus color because they've released a black and white version, and that's what they're calling it. I think that was a mistake. I don't think that the black and white version needed to be released. I think they should have released an English version language. I think people would have gone to see that first. But either way, Godzilla -1 hitting $100 million, well deserved. Not just a good Godzilla movie, but a good movie all the way through. And
why do they
I'm very
call
happy
it
for it?
-1?
Because after World War II, Japan was at a 0. They got their butts kicked. They were trying to survive. They were rough. They were at 0. And then this 400-foot dinosaur shows up and starts stomping thing. That took it down to -1.
Okay.
That's the theory behind Godzilla -1. It's so good because there's so much going on in that movie. And I know I've reviewed this before, but you got this, you got Japan depressed because they got their rear ends handed to them in the war. You got them struggling because their towns are destroyed and they're struggling just to survive. And then all of a sudden here comes this dinosaur and he's like just wandering through the streets. He's not doing anything intentional. He just wandering around stepping on people. But they have to stop him. They have to destroy him. So they all get together again and raise their spirits because now they're working as a team again against a mutual enemy. And it brings everybody up. On top of that, you got a guy who was a kamikaze pilot who couldn't bring himself to kamikaze. He was supposed to crash into a U.S. ship or something. He couldn't do it. He faked engine problems. Well, he comes back to Japan and they all hate his guts. They say it's because of you we lost this war. And so he's going to make it up to him by doing battle against Godzilla. But he can't kill himself because he's got a family. What, is he supposed to just, crash his plane because leave his kid and his it's not his wife, it's somebody that he meets later, but this little family he's created, he's supposed to leave them behind to fend for themselves. It's not an easy decision.
No,
and that's explored in this movie, but it's a Godzilla movie and this kind of drama is going on.
Yeah. And another thing why he can't do it is because then he won't be in the sequel.
That's true.
Oh, okay.
I hope there's not a sequel.
I
hope he makes another Godzilla movie, but I hope it's not a sequel.
Oh, maybe they'll do a prequel.
Maybe not. There's a little Godzilla walking around before he meets people. Yeah, I don't think so.
Itty bitty thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
by the way, let me read these records as well because it deserves it. So, Godzilla -1 topped $100 million at the box office in a run that has shattered records and crowned the film the biggest Japanese live action release in U.S. history, the 5th highest grossing foreign language film in U.S. history, and the highest grossing Toho Godzilla movie of all time. That is a big smash hit. So more power to everybody who involved with that film.
Okay, let me ask you this, because the reason why I bring this up, Godzilla is such a huge, physically huge character.
And yes.
And also we have King Kong, who is a physically huge character.
Right.
As far as I know, there's only been 2 movies about Mighty Joe Young, which again was a gorilla that was physically huge. The original, which was black and white, and I don't remember who the stars were in it. And then wasn't there the one with
Charlize was in that, wasn't she?
Yeah, the second one, Charlize Theron. And she did great in it from what I remember. I'd like to see that movie again. But I always liked, if you can find a copy of the original Mighty Joe Young.
It's so sad.
Yeah.
It's so sad. I don't like that movie because it's too sad.
Yeah, the original? Well, yeah, I can understand.
It is.
Well, the original King Kong.
Well, that's sad too. I don't watch that for the same reason. That's one of the greatest movies ever made. That movie is, how old is it now?
Older than me, actually.
It's 90 years old this year, 1933. So 90 years old last year, and still packs a wallop. Yeah. And then you got Peter Jackson's remake, which was beautiful as well. It was. But it's sad. And the thing is that Mighty Joe Young does not have the impact of King Kong. Just say the words. Mm-hmm. Say Mighty Joe Young.
Mighty Joe Young.
Not say King Kong.
Yeah, King Kong.
Yeah. I don't think that Mighty Joe Young, the black and white original, did well, and I don't think that the Charlize Theron one did well. So I don't think we're going to see any more Mighty Joe Young unless they throw him into one of the current King Kong movies. It's also interesting to note, and I know this is all over the internet, and I don't care, but it is interesting to note that King Kong originally 50 feet tall. Mm-hmm. Now he's 400 foot tall. Godzilla originally 200 feet tall. Now he's 400 feet tall.
He grew.
I did see a cartoon strip that got things right, though. It said what really would have happened in King Kong versus Godzilla. And the first frame out of 3 was Godzilla on the left, King Kong on the right. The second frame was Godzilla on the left, King Kong on the right, Godzilla shooting his heat ray. The third frame was Godzilla on the left and a pile of steaming bones on the right. So that's really what would have happened. I remember I was talking to Tom Spence about Godzilla versus Kong before it had been released. And his theory was that King Kong would win because he's got that almost human intelligence, right? Because he's an ape. And Godzilla would only have a little pea brain because he was a dinosaur. And I'm all, okay, well, you're missing one point. Godzilla's not a dinosaur. He's a monster from the deep, and he's got a brain too. Mm. So as was proven in the movie, because who won in Godzilla versus Kong?
In all the
I asked you a question, sir. Who won in Godzilla versus Kong?
I don't remember because I don't think I did not see that movie for whatever reason, or if I did,
because you're a
I don't
slacker.
remember it.
Godzilla won.
Oh, of course.
Kong fought a hard battle, and Godzilla just kept knocking him down, and finally Godzilla knocked him down hard, and Kong was like trying to get up, but he couldn't because he was so beat. And Godzilla had that he could have killed him right there. Instead, he went, okay, and walked away. It was awesome. So great. Love that movie.
In your opinion,
I think that most people should not wear their shoes inside. They should leave them outside the door. Is that not what you're going to ask me?
Exactly. I got to tell you,
I have the mind.
You have this sixth sense, which I actually did like that movie myself.
I'm very sorry that I asked now because he forgot what he was going to talk about.
No, I didn't. Of all the Godzilla movies that you have seen.
Yep.
Now, I don't mean...
I've seen all of them.
Okay. Well,
every one.
I was going to
There's
say...
not one I haven't seen.
Okay. What about the Godzilla cartoons?
Which ones?
I don't know if
there's two sets of them.
Oh, there is.
Yeah, there was one that was early Saturday morning kid show with a really dorky looking Godzilla, and then there was the one with the 2000 Godzilla from the Matthew Broderick days.
Yeah, okay.
And,
that's where I was going. That was a cartoon,
and it was better than the movie.
Yeah,
it was better than the movie. You can buy the whole box set. I got it at Big Lot, the entire series for like $4.
Really?
Awesome.
Big Lots?
Yep.
But that's where I was going. The worst King Kong or Godzilla movie, in my opinion, anyway, was the one with Matthew Broderick. Although it did have a couple scenes, I got to admit, especially the one with.
You mentioned this every single time you talk
the taxi
about
driver.
This movie. Jean Reno.
No, the taxi driver.
I thought Jean Reno was a taxi driver.
No, that was in another movie. No, it was the Hank Azaria.
Oh, he was the taxi driver?
Yeah,
I love Hank Azaria. Go ahead and tell it. You can't wait.
Okay. He's, Godzilla is walking through, or let me rephrase that. The not Godzilla, because it didn't look anything like Godzilla would look like.
The big giant iguana.
Yes, exactly. Was making its way down Broadway or whatever street, obviously taking place in New York. And Hank Azaria's character, who I believe was a cab driver, taxi driver, to those who don't know what a cab is.
Really, John?
Hey, this generation today, who knows?
No, hey, that's not that is ageist. And
okay,
you, sir, should not.
I got to tell you what, if they made that movie today, it wouldn't be a cab driver or AKA a taxi
It'd be an Uber driver.
It'd be an Uber or Lyft driver or some other ride share.
This is the
driver.
one thing that you have so much trouble understanding is that times change. Thank God.
Yeah. Anyway, he's running and just, I don't remember his dialogue, but the look on his face and all, it was just so funny. Here he thinks he's going to get squashed and he misses him.
Well, he's between his toes. It's important to say that he's between his toes.
Ooh,
right?
I guess it's been a while since I've seen it. I still have, when Taco Bell gave away the cup holders that had the Godzilla wrapped around it, I still have mine.
Dude, I hated that movie. I felt betrayed by it. I felt that it was wrong. They hid Godzilla from us until the day the movie was released. And remember my son and I got up early so we could see the picture of the Godzilla, and we both saw him. We went, what? And that being said, I got every single promotional item I could get my hands on from that thing. I got 2,000 Godzillas everywhere. It's ridiculous. I'm trying to find the Blu-ray because I think that's the one movie I don't have, and I should probably have it just because.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, not only was Taco Bell giving away toy things, and I would say that cup holder was a toy thing from that movie. They also ran a contest where you could, I think the ultimate prize was like $20,000 or something like that, if you got all the right tokens or coupons or whatever they were called. But that was a Taco Bell tie-in.
Yeah, they had a lot of Taco Bell tie-ins with that. Godzilla on Blu-ray from 2000 is $19.99. I'm not paying $19.99 for that movie. I'm sorry. So we'll wait and see if I can find it at Best Big Lots or something.
See if it's on eBay.
So, or maybe eBay, but I'm not going to pay that much money. You know what I did pay for? And I haven't got it yet, so I'm hesitant to tell you folks about it, but I'll tell you about it. And if it turns out to be disappointing, I'll let you know. Steven Spielberg's Duel. 1971 movie, his first feature film.
Such a good movie.
The day afterwards, it was rated the highest TV movie of all time. It's a story of a salesperson who's on the road in his Plymouth Valiant, and he's being terrorized by the driver of a tank truck, right? It was a tank truck, I think.
No, it's it was either one of those small tank trucks.
Didn't I say tank truck? Wasn't that what I said?
You said tank truck.
Oh, look at it. It is a dual. It is a tank truck.
It is a tank truck. When we say tank truck, like
no, you can't get out of it, John. You've already.
Well, no, I was thinking it was a dump
humbly
truck.
say, I'm sorry, I'm wrong. I made a mistake. I should have listened to Scott in the first place. Just say that. Don't try to talk your way out of it. You were just wrong.
I like the way that says it. The movie truck led to a killer shark.
That's true.
No, I couldn't remember if it was a tanker truck. When we say tanker trucks, an old style gasoline tanker.
Anyway, so the salesman, Dennis Weaver, is on the road, and he has a road rage incident with this truck driver, and the truck driver starts terrorizing him. And it is an intense movie. It is filled with action. It is filled with suspense. It put Steven Spielberg on the map, and I think rightfully so. Here's the story about Duel that I had read, however. Duel was a television movie, right? And back in 1971, what was the only ratio that we had available to us?
Oh, God.
I'll tell you, because there's no way you remember. 4:3.
I think it was 4:3.
It was, as a matter of fact.
Oh, thank you.
So, almost square, but not quite square, right? That's the only option that every television in the country had, was 4:3. So Duel was broadcast in 4:3. Now,
and Dennis Weaver was fantastic.
He was fantastic in it. Many years later, because when Duel was out, I was 10. I was 10 years old when Duel was released. So I loved it then, but I wasn't the film fanatic that I am now. So years later, after I realized that Steven Spielberg is the greatest filmmaker of all time, still think that, by the way.
Wait a minute. If you were to compare Steven Spielberg and Quentin Tarantino, that's a tough comparison.
It is, but here's the difference. How many films has Spielberg made? How many films has Tarantino made? Spielberg's probably done 25 films, and 20 of them are classics. Yeah. Tarantino's done 9 films, and
9 of them are classics.
9 of them are classics. So still, Spielberg gets the edge because he's been in the business longer, and Tarantino's quitting. So,
but how many TV show episodes has Steven Spielberg directed as opposed to Quentin?
What does that have to do with anything? That doesn't have anything to do with anything.
I just thought I'd throw.
You were just trying to show that you knew that they both directed TV shows.
Spielberg directed a TV show? No, seriously, I didn't think he had.
Go back and watch the very first episode ever of Columbo, and look who directed it.
Really?
Yes.
I loved Columbo.
Yes.
Oh, I wish they'd do a movie about Columbo.
See, we're off on a tangent again. Talking about Duel, and all of a sudden we're Columbo.
Getting back to Duel.
You can't say straight. It's just like he's like, those big orange water barrels that they have on the freeways, and you crash into them, and the water goes all over. That's like doing a show with John. He just crashes it, and then things go all over.
Speaking of Duel,
I'm not done speaking about Duel, but apparently you've got something to say.
Well, yes, I do.
Well, you're not going to say it now because I'm going to finish my story anyway. The original Duel was television formatted because it was for televisions. So it was 4:3. And I don't know what they call it. It's 4:3, whatever. The 4:3 ratio, I guess, is probably the better way to say it. Anyway, years later, I read an article about Duel, and they said that it was so successful in the United States that they released it theatrically in Europe, where it did quite well. But the problem was, it was a widescreen release. And there are certain scenes where you see Spielberg standing on the side of the road watching the action. Now, I don't know if that's true because I was never able to find that copy. Last night, I just happened to be going through my special disc collection where all my favorite movies are stored. And I found my copy of Duel. I pulled it out and I looked at the back of it, and it's the 4:3 ratio. And I thought, I wonder if the other ratio is available. So I put that back in the shelf. I went to Amazon and I found Duel on Blu-ray and the 1:85:1 ratio. Now that I was okay. That's the widescreen. So I ordered it instantly. It was only $9 and it's on its way now. So I'm very anxious to see
if this is the European theatrical version, and it might be because that they said that the Blu-ray was struck from the original 35 millimeter prints. So I'm very excited to get this. So when it arrives, and it won't be in time for next week's show, because it's not going to be until February 6th. When it arrives, I will watch it, and we will discuss that on a future show here to see.
You said you found this on Amazon?
On Amazon, yeah.
Oh, and do you know what else you can find on
We already did that.
Amazon.com?
We already did it.
Our Scott Bolton
Nope,
books.
Yeah, you can, but we already did that. So anyway, you wanted to say something about Duel.
I do. Dennis Weaver played the salesman, and he, like we said,
he was terrific. Dennis Weaver was just great.
Well, the reason why I'm bringing that up is because I have been watching some of the first season of Gunsmoke, where Dennis Weaver played Chester Good.
Oh, that's fun.
And yeah, to see his acting in those early days when he was a really young man, and then looking over his career, because he did what was the one where he plays the sheriff in New York City? He plays like a Arizona sheriff, McLeod.
Oh yeah,
yeah. He was great in that. Everything I've ever seen Dennis Weaver in, he was great.
Did you ever hear the story about the fight that Hugh Hefner and Dennis Weaver had?
No.
Apparently they were at a party, and Dennis Weaver came over to Hugh Hefner, and he said, "You know, I don't appreciate what you do because it's filth, it's ruining America." And, you know, he's going on about the Playboy magazine, obviously. And Hugh said, well, I don't appreciate what you do because you're playing this character that's an old school guy who does things his way without regard to the law. And so they started, I guess, pushing on each other and whatever. Finally, they both got into a fist fight. They were fighting and they fell on the ground. They're rolling around. This was at a party that was going on. And the host finally came over and said, hey, Hugh, get off McLeod.
That's funny.
No, it's not.
Yeah, but you're laughing at it though. No, I found that quite that I like that one. That was good. That was good. And
I did not make that up, but that's an old joke. But
I wrote Dennis Weaver and I was fixing to put VS Hugh Hefner.
Hey, Hugh, get off McLeod.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, it really isn't. All right, let's see what else we got going on in the news here. We're going to go to Internet Movie Database where I gather all my news and see. Isn't it funny? That's the only thing I don't have here. IMDb.
I love that website, by the way. I don't like the way they've changed it over the years, but I know
once again, he's against change. He hates change.
No.
I like change, and I usually don't have any because nobody takes coins anymore.
It's just like when you walk into a store that you've gone in many, many times, and you go to that same aisle that you've gone to many, many times, and it's like, wait a minute. Oh man, they change things around again. Harbor Freight does that. You get used to going to a certain aisle to get something. When you go back later, and it's like, oh, it's on the other side of the store. They moved it. So I'm just using that as an example. But am I against change? To a point.
Yeah. We noticed. All right. Because in the show notes, I said I was talking about these. I want to talk about two new shows that I watched. One of them is not new. It's a couple of years old, but boy, it was great. It's called Fisk. And Fisk is an Australian production. Surprised you don't know about it already, Johnny. It was where you will go exploring international television shows.
I love those shows from Australia and the UK.
This is a great one. And it's played by Kitty Flanagan, plays the character Fisk. She's an attorney who's going through a bad divorce. So she moves from Sydney to Melbourne, or vice versa. I can't remember which. I think it's Sydney to Melbourne, to find another job where she doesn't have to deal with so many people. So she finds a job at a law firm that does wills and probate because she figures, hey, half of those clients are going to be dead. I wouldn't have to deal with them. So she gets in with this tiny little firm. It's about 5 or 6 people total in the whole firm. And she's a little bit like, well, she's very sharp. She's very witty. And she has this look of disbelief as she deals with the crazy people surrounding her. She's got her nutty boss. She's got another attorney who's in the building who can't do attorney work anymore because she's been banned from it. They've got the assistant who works for them. And it reminds me a little bit of Curb Your Enthusiasm with this big exception.
in Fisk is the same character. It's everybody else around them who are the annoying ones. So it reminds me a little bit of a cross between Curb Your Enthusiasm and The Office. Now, it's not an improv show like Curb is. It's written out, and Kitty writes most of the episodes herself, or at least co-writes most of the episodes herself. She is a very popular comic in Australia. In fact, the character of Fisk was chosen as the most popular character in all of Australia a couple of years ago. So if you like shows that have this acid tongue to them, but it's almost hidden in the way they do things, and watching Kitty Flanagan's face is just a delight. The way she responds to things, and it just, at one point, for example, they tell I'm not sure the name, so I'm just going to make a name up. The Smith sisters are coming in, and they say, "Better lock up your desk." She's all, what does that mean? Well, these two elderly women come in, and they sit down at the desk, and they're talking about their wills and their probate. And as they're talking, they're stealing her stapler, putting it in her bag. They steal her pens and put it in her bag. And she's all, that's not a party gift. That's just that kind of stuff going on. It's a blast. So check out Fisk. It's on Netflix right now, but I imagine you can find it where you go out to look for your other international things. It's pretty cool.
Most of the stuff I do watch, excuse me, occasionally I do watch Netflix, but most of the time I'm on Amazon Prime Video or Freevee, which is owned by Amazon.
Yeah,
Prime.
and it's pretty good too. I enjoy Freevee. They do the commercials right on Freevee, which I really appreciate a lot.
Yeah, I mean, when they break for a commercial, it can be right in the middle of a scene, but when the commercial is over, it picks up right where it left off.
Yeah.
So you
never miss anything. And they don't edit it. If the F word's in there, the F word's still in there. Because I won't watch a movie that's edited that way either. I just don't get it.
One of the UK shows I'm watching right now is Line of Duty, In the Line of Duty. And it's fantastic. And I'm on the second season of it. I'm getting ready to wrap it up. I think I got one episode left. And it's about, so far that I've seen, what they call over here they call it when cops are investigating cops.
Internal affairs.
Yeah, over here we call it internal affairs. Over there it's called, oh God, I can't remember what it's called.
Doesn't matter, John. Just tell us.
But
please.
anyway, it's really, really good.
And what's it called again?
In the Line of Duty.
In the Line of Duty.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it takes place in the UK, and I found it on Amazon Prime Video.
There's so much on Amazon Prime. If you just browse through it, and it's that way with every streaming network. There's the hidden gems, and the hidden gems are going away because they're trying to clean their slates. Mm-hmm. So watch what you can. By the way, I have that series for you. I just need you to bring a flash drive next week.
Okay.
That David Soul series.
Oh, unsub.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Yes. I wish you told me that, because I had one in my pocket because I had to go to print something up on, and I took it out of my pocket and left it at home.
Oh, well, I wouldn't do any good because I didn't bring mine. So,
oh,
yeah.
Okay. All right.
Anyway, the other series I watched this week was The Brother's Son. And the reason I watched Brother's Son can be summed up in 2 words: Michelle Yeoh. I'll watch anything that Michelle Yeoh is, and she is utterly amazing. In this series, she plays the mother of a young college student who's trying to make it through college. That's all he wants to do, is make it through college. But suddenly he's thrust into the world of triads and gangs because his brother comes over from Taipei, and he is there to protect them because their father, who's a triad leader, has been shot, and he knows that assassins will be coming for the mother and for the brother. The brother's very upset because he doesn't want any part of the gangster world. He just wants to be a college student. He just wants to do that the rest of his life. But they won't let him, of course. They're pushing into it, and it gets into a big combination. You find out that the mother's not exactly who you thought she was. You find out that the brother is not only an assassin, he's considered the most dangerous man in the world. And there's a lot of great kung fu fights inside of it. Kung fu, as opposed to like John Wick style violence. It's more like a kung fu movie, like you would expect. A lot of great characters, a lot of great acting. It's 8 episodes of this series. Could have been 4 and would have been better, I think. With all that action and with all the great acting in it, you would think that there wouldn't be any lulls, but there are lulls as you're watching it like, okay, can we just get to the next part? And that's not terrible. It's not to the point that I would not recommend it. I just wish it had been shorter rather than longer, but very highly recommended on Netflix now, brand new. And again, Michelle Yeoh, that's all you need.
Oh yeah.
If she's in it, you go see it.
Yeah. The brother's son. And I had to look up at that screen up there to make sure I was spelling son correctly, because I was getting ready to spell it as S-O-N.
Well, you could be the brother's son, like a nephew, the brother's son, but it's not. It's the brother's with no apostrophe son.
And that is S-U-N.
And it's got a 7.7 rating on an Internet Movie Database, which is, just viewers reviewing it. So that's not bad at all.
Now, you mentioned John Wick.
Yeah.
And we've had, 4 movies about John Wick now?
Yes.
And the only reason I bring that up is because, they're sequels.
Don't tell me you want a prequel of My Brother's Son.
Oh, that would be cool.
Oh, God.
No, Pirates of the Caribbean, or Caribbean, however you pronounce it. I've been getting these things on my phone about Pirates of the Caribbean 6. And it's a video, and it shows Jenna Ortega playing the part of Captain Jack Sparrow's daughter. And the person that they show as Captain Jack Sparrow it's either Johnny Depp or it is somebody who looks and sounds remarkably like Johnny Depp. So what have you found out about Pirates of the Caribbean 6?
Nothing. I'm seeing that there's a first trailer here posted on YouTube, but you can't trust these anymore. People create posters and trailers out of nothing and go on from there. Let's see what Internet Movie Database has to say about it. Because I've heard rumblings, but that's all I've heard. Nothing that's actually in stone. You know what I'm saying? Let's see if it'll do a 6. Yeah, there's nothing official. So I'm thinking that this is probably because there's nothing official here at all. There's an untitled Pirates of the Caribbean project, but I don't think that's the same thing. So yeah, I haven't heard anything. So there's a trailer right here, but I don't think it's probably a genuine trailer. It's probably a make-believe trailer. We're going to pull it up right now and take a look at it. We can't share it with you folks. They did. That's StreamYard advertising. By the way, StreamYard is working really great for us. So I'm happy about that. Okay, we can skip that now and see if this is a real ad or not. So far, here's the other thing. They use scenes from the movies. So you think it's real, but see right here. Here's the word concept. It's not real.
I did not see that.
Yep. So it's not real. So there is nothing in the works there. The story I've heard is that Johnny Depp will be returning as Captain Sparrow. But
I think number 6, the subtitle is Beyond the Horizon, according to what that says.
Yeah, but again, that's probably a fake trailer as well. KH Studio. Yeah, that's also some of the fan concepts are better than what the studios. That's a fan concept, and that's all over the place these days.
It's done remarkably well.
It is, yeah. Well, they can do anything with AI. Just ask Taylor Swift.
Wow,
that's just
and look what they've done with President Biden. With
exactly.
Phone calls.
Well, everybody
it sounds just like him.
Yep. And well, I'll tell you a story.
It's amazing what they do, like you said, with AI.
I won't tell you who it was, but it's somebody very near and dear to us. She got a phone call that her mother had been in an auto accident and she was at the hospital, and they wanted her to confirm her mother's name. So she told them her mother's name, and they said, "Yeah, we're not at the hospital. We've kidnapped her, and if you don't get us $500 in an hour, we're gonna shoot her." And she started to ask questions, and they said, and all of a sudden she heard the slap, and she heard her mother cry out. And the guy said, "Every time you ask a question, we're going to hit her again. Go get the money." So she was on her way to get the money because she couldn't reach her mom. She tried and she couldn't reach her. So she was on the way to get the money when one of her coworkers, they were all panicking, freaking out about it, got her mom. Her mom's like, "No, I'm sitting at home watching my stories." Ooh. So not only did they create this phone call to make you anxious to go pay, they used AI to mimic her voice. Where they got her voice? Well, there's videos on Facebook.
Yeah.
Everybody's, You and I, we'd be easy to AI because our faces are out there every week and our voices are out there every week. So you can't believe it all. So stop believing it.
I'm waiting. Honestly, I'm anxiously awaiting that phone call I get from my grandson or granddaughter because they're in jail in either Mexico or South America and they need money.
The difference is that now you'll hear them talk. You don't have any grandkids, but
fine. Now I'm not going to get the phone call.
Yeah,
Jesus.
sorry, I wrote it for you because only the criminals listen to this show apparently.
Yeah.
But now that they would take a snippet of her voice and create a thing out of it, and you'd believe it for a second. It's a horrible, horrible world. And by the way, those people who do that, you know who needs to visit them?
Yes,
The Beekeeper.
the Beekeeper.
Damn straight.
Oh.
Finally, today I want to talk real quick about one thing because I think the studio is making a major mistake. A major mistake here. Roadhouse, the famous Patrick Swayze movie, has been remade starring Jake Gyllenhaal. Gyllenhaal. Everybody calls him Gyllenhaal, but according to something I watched on TV with him, it's actually pronounced Gyllenhaal.
Yes.
Anyway, Jake is in it, and Conor McGregor is in it, and it's a remake of the original with Patrick Swayze. This one directed by Doug Liman.
Which, by the way, the original was really good.
It was. The studio has decided to release this on streaming only. They're going to release it directly to Amazon Prime. I think that's a mistake. I think they could generate some pretty serious box office cash if they'd released it in theaters first. But apparently the decision's been made and they're not going to waver. So when it comes out on March 21st, the only way you'll be able to see Roadhouse is on Amazon Prime. So don't you think that a remake of Roadhouse with that cast would have box office potential?
I would think so.
Now, here's the thing we don't know. Maybe the movie really sucks. Maybe they looked at it and went, yeah, we're not going to take a chance with this in theaters. We're going to just release it directly onto streaming because that's better than shelving it like they did Batgirl.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know enough about this movie to tell you, but I do know that I want to see it. And I would imagine that enough people remember the original Roadhouse fondly enough to go see it in theaters too. But the studio has decided to go straight to streaming. So if you want to see the Roadhouse remake with Jake Gyllenhaal, you're going to have to go to Prime and watch it there. I will. I mean, it's not exactly the kind of movie that has to be seen on the big screen, but it would have been fun to go to the movies. And I think that people would have done it. So anyway, that's pretty much it for this week's show, folks. We'll not have a show next week because Friday night is my retirement party at La Cabana. You're coming, right?
I'm planning on it.
And
I'm glad you reminded me.
And I don't think that I'll be in any condition to come to a show the next day. I've already been warned that everybody at work wants to buy me a shot, and there are 21 of them. I'm not going to be able to let them all give me that. But anyway,
that's funny. Have you ever seen any of the videos of John Panette?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Oh, he was a comedic genius. Whether I would put him on the same level as Robin Williams, I don't know, but pretty close. John Panette was a very funny comedian. And in one of his skits, he talks about people buying him shots of tequila. And Gabriel Iglesias the same way. One of his skits, he talks about people, because he's famous, they buy him shots of tequila when he goes into a bar. To listen to both these comedians, it's fantastic. Gabriel Iglesias is still with us. He's also known as Fluffy.
Yep.
Unfortunately, John Panette passed away.
That was sad.
Oh,
a couple of years ago, at least.
Yeah, a few years back. And he was really, really funny.
Another comedian that has long since passed, Sam Kinison, had a story about that as well. He said it was tough being Sam Kinison because you go to a party and Sam Kinison's here. And they go, okay, here's my line. Shh. And here's your line. Shh. Anyway, that's, probably part of what killed him. But anyway, it was still funny back then. All right, folks, we will see you not next week, but the following week. Again, if you're upset about anything in the show, email John. You heard him earlier that he's the one to contact.
Yes, at something.com//arrow left, arrow right, asterisk dot something.
I was thinking to myself, I'm going to buy the domain he mentions and just have it to go there, but I'm not going to do that now. It's too hard. All right, folks. So we'll see you next week. As always, this show is brought to you by our friends at The Grape. The Grape is Ventura County's greatest jazz club and one of the Ventura County's greatest bars. They have the longest bar in Ventura County. Awesome craft cocktails and good talk. They're good people all the way around. Haven't been there a while myself, and I miss going out to The Grape because just hanging out with those folks. And they have a TV show as well called Underway Cafe, which you can find on YouTube and check out. It's just a blast. They take chefs from well-known places and have them make their signature meal at the restaurant. And then they put them on a little boat in a little kitchenette and take them out on the rough waters and say, make that again. A lot of fun. So check that out on YouTube, Cafe Underway, or is it Underway Cafe? I always get it reversed.
As long as it's not underwater.
One or the other, folks. One or the other. And it's not underwater. That'd be really bad. So anyway, we'll see you in a couple of weeks. This is what?
Go to your local theater.
You really should.
And, especially if it's a mom and pop, not a chain. I mean, although you should
just go to the movies either way. But if you can pick a mom and pop
movies.
theater, which we don't have any here, I don't think anymore.
There might be one in Westlake Village, I think.
That was true.
Used to go
there
to.
was one in Camarillo, but I don't think it's reopened yet.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Our corner one, like what I
Little Regency Theater.
Yeah. Used to be, it wasn't really a mom and pop. It was a corporate, but it played second run movies. Well, they're now a first run movie theater.
Yes. And still a very nice theater. We went there and saw something recently. It was good. Argyle next Friday.
Yes,
looking forward to
forward
Argyle.
to that. Oh, by the way, remember when I asked you if Beekeeper,
I already put the ad up and it doesn't matter.
If Beekeeper was on a big screen or a small screen?
Yeah.
At that theater, they do have, I think, Theater 1 and Theater 6.
The ones across from each other?
Yeah.
I was thinking about that after we talked
ones.
because I remember when we had the original Top Gun there, they ran the same film through both projectors because they only had one print, but they had it in two theaters. It was very nerve-wracking all the way through. All right, folks, got to go. See you next week. Go to The Grape.
Hey, yes, go.
Brought to you by The Grape, Ventura County's premier jazz venue and cocktail lounge, located at 2733 East Main Street in Ventura. For menu and music schedule, visit them online at thegrape.club. This has been a Rough Edge Studios production.